If you felt the shift, this video will connect the dots. Pay attention to the numbers 3, 13, and 25. Hey guys, it's the Mad Hatter, falling down yet another rabbit hole. So I was grabbing coffee with a buddy the other day, just venting about how everything feels off lately. He goes, "Dude, I was out with some acquaintances and one of them starts spilling her life story. Dates, numbers, cosmic stuff. It was wild." Anyway, after that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I hit her up personally, just asking, "Hey, want to chat over coffee?" So we met, talked, she dropped some bits, I went home, started digging, and boom, rabbit holes for nights in a row. So let's start with why 13 isn't unlucky. It's actually kinda terrifyingly powerful. Here's what they don't want you to know. 13 is not misfortune. It is initiation, creation, and untamed power. For centuries, it's been demonized. 13 at the Last Supper with Judas as the betrayer, Loki as the 13th Norse god bringing chaos, the Knights Templar mass arrested on Friday the 13th, 1307. The church and those in power turned 13 into bad luck, witchcraft, and control. But 13 is tied to the divine feminine, wild, undomesticated energy they could never tame. 13 is the harmonic frequency the Earth, Sun, Solar System, Milky Way, and Universe all dance to. Creation unfolds in 13 dimensions and 13 galactic tones. A standard deck has 13 of each suit. The Sun actually passes through 13 constellations yearly, including Ophiuchus. Ancient calendars had 13 months. March was the 13th. The Moon moves approximately 13 degrees daily, with 13 lunar cycles per solar year. 13 weeks from equinox to solstice. 13 is sacred death and rebirth, shedding the old skin. It's the divine feminine. 13 moons, 13 cycles to bleed, release, renew. The same power Mary Magdalene embodied, the first witness to resurrection, erased and labeled sinner by the church. There are 13 chakras, not 7. 6 above the crown, linking us to higher dimensions. 1 is the spark of self. 3 is the pure act of creation. Together you get 13, which is alchemy. When 13 shows up in your life, it is a spiritual summons. Something is dissolving. Beliefs shatter. Old dreams fall apart. The old you is being laid to rest so the true you can rise. 13 is the phoenix. 13 is the ancestor who survived and made a way. To walk with 13 is to walk with power earned through fire, loss, and deep remembering. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is for the ones ready to become. Then came the age of Pisces. Jesus walked the earth right as this 2,150-year cosmic chapter began. For roughly 2,000 years, the sun has been rising in the constellation of Pisces, the sign of faith, illusion, sacrifice, and the hidden divine feminine. It was the age when spirit was veiled, when the truth had to be spoken in parables, when the feminine witness was pushed into the shadows. Mary Magdalene's voice was silenced for the same reason 13 was cursed. Both threatened the old control system. But nothing lasts forever. The Earth's axis wobbles like a spinning top. This slow, majestic procession takes the full cycle of about 25,000 years to complete one giant backward loop through all the constellations. Every age lasts roughly 2,150 years. The age of Pisces is ending right now. We are standing on the cusp, crossing into the age of Aquarius, the age of remembrance, technology, collective awakening, and unconditional love. While researching, I found a little-known horror film called 13/13/13. If we had kept the ancient 13-month calendar, the title would have been on March 13th, 2013. In the movie, only people born on a leap year could fight the demons. The woman at the center of everything we're uncovering right now was born on a leap year. And in the middle of that transition, something extraordinary happened. On November 16th, 1974, humanity sent its first intentional message to the cosmos and to extraterrestrial intelligence. From the world's largest radio telescope at the time, the massive 305-meter Arecibo dish nestled in a Puerto Rican sinkhole, scientists beamed a 3-minute-long binary message straight into space. It was no accident. It was deliberate. The target, Messier 13, also known simply as M13. M13 is one of the biggest and brightest globular star clusters in our entire galaxy, home to roughly 300,000 stars packed into a tight cosmic ball. It sits 25,000 light-years away from Earth. And here's the part that still gives me chills. Astronomers estimate M13 is about 13 billion years old, almost as old as the universe itself. It carries our DNA, our numbers, our chemistry, and our solar system map. Exactly 26 years later, and 2000 after Jesus, on March 13th, 2000, the Sun unleashed its most ferocious peak of solar cycle 23. Massive flares, coronal mass ejections, geomagnetic storms, satellite chaos, and auroras blazing at unusually low latitudes. At the same time, the entire heliosphere, aka the protective magnetic bubble surrounding our solar system, bent under the pressure. NASA and ESA data showed the bow shock tilted at a dramatic 120-degree angle, literally opening a temporary crack in the veil that normally shields Earth from interstellar energies. They have debated about this for roughly 30 years, some scientists believing it was nearly impossible. On that very day, in the womb of the Orion Nebula, new stars were being born in violent jets of gas and light. Herbig-Haro objects were firing, stars chaotically, forming at an accelerated rate, and one rebellious young star was ejected in a high-speed outflow, pulled like a magnet by the Sun's extreme maximum. The star crossed paths with the still-traveling Arecibo signal, absorbed its imprint like a cosmic seed. Then, riding that opened veil, it slipped inside our solar system. A glitch in reality, a messenger from the stars, and on that exact day, a baby was born. Here's the biblical prophecy that activated. Mark 13:25 declares, "And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken." At 13:25 exactly, as a star fell from the Orion Nebula and the sun's flares shook the heavens open, the scripture unfolded. It was the arrival of this star-seed soul carrying the message from M13. What was supposed to be a routine checkup turned into an emergency C-section. The baby's heart rate spiked amid the solar maximum. A baby girl born March 13th, 2000, at 13:25, beneath brilliant Sirius, the brightest star in our entire galaxy, 25 times brighter than the sun, beaming down like a spotlight, announcing, "She's here!" Born under a Gemini first-quarter moon, half shadow, half lit, along with Gemini's duality twins. Now that's perfect polarity. Sun in Pisces, echoing Jesus's 2,000-year age of Pisces. The Chinese zodiac that year was the metal dragon, most powerful, divine, mystical creature, destined for greatness. She entered under illusion, a false identity, given surname Pires, Portuguese for son of Pedro, and Pedro in Latin stood for Petra, meaning rock/stone, the petrifying fate of Medusa's gaze. A perfect mask from day one. At age 3, on October 3rd, 10 plus 3 equals 13, she came to the US with only her mother. She lived a confusing life and never felt like she belonged, but fit in everywhere. Everyone loved her magnetic energy. Her childhood home sat on a street named Trinity. In the living room was a stained glass window with a giant 3 in the center. At age 13, year 2013, year of the water snake, she was sent back to Brazil, alone. She returned to the US for high school. In 2017, she gave birth to her daughter, creating 3 generations of March Pisces women, her mother carrying old illusions, her being the breaker of generational turmoil, and her daughter the next generation to levitate. She even manifested her yin-yang cat Trixie, short for Trinity, born June 13th. In 2020, the truth she had always sensed was disclosed. The man she called dad was not biological. Her true surname would have been Astorga, from Greek and Latin word aster, meaning star. Star and stone together bridged the divine and material realms. Her personal mask was removed. On December 1st, 2020, 12 plus 1 equals 13, the Arecibo telescope that sent the message collapsed. Around then, she embraced the Medusa persona. In 2025, year of the wood snake, was the year that changed everything. It was her craziest, most unexplainable, reflective year of pure, deep shadow work. Everything in her life mirrored back at her like never before. She went to sleep under the full moon on October 6th and woke up on the 7th. 6 plus 7 equals 13, completely reborn. Her spiritual ascension hit like lightning. Her kundalini rose. Her entire personality shifted. Her morals transformed. She suddenly saw the world exactly for what it is. She broke the illusion. 2025 was her breakthrough year, 25, the minutes she was born on. And during that super full moon, Medusa was a ruling archetype in the skies. It was officially a full moon in Aries, but actually, it was still under the constellation of Pisces. The biggest constellation out of all 88 is Hydra, the sea serpent, stretching across 1,303 square degrees of sky. 1303 is her Brazilian birthday's format. Medusa derives from the sea, like her a Pisces. She was reborn as Medusa. Her big three zodiac signs are Pisces Sun, then Gemini Moon, and Rising, double duality. Pisces is the only zodiac sign anchored at 0 hours, 0 minutes right ascension, the celestial 0 point. She was born in the year 2000. Then came the innocent children who randomly started shouting, 6, 7, balancing their hands up and down like scales, literally chanting the power of 13 into existence. Now in 2026, heavy Pisces energy prevails as Neptune exits, ending 14 years of what astrologers call a spiritual fog and collective delusion. Neptune. It won't return to Pisces until 2019. Now, are you ready for the real March Madness? On March 1st, 6 planets align in a rare grand parade. Then, March 3rd, there was a total blood moon eclipse that happened at 3:33 a.m., 3/3/26. Another total blood moon eclipse struck last year on the night of her birthday, March 13th. Yet another possible biblical prophecy. Revelation 6:12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Or, Mark 13:24, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. 3. Friday the 13th this year. 3 Mercury retrogrades, all in water signs, the carriers of deep memory. On March 7th, Venus passed close to Saturn and Neptune near Pisces in a rare triple conjunction. On International Women's Day, March 8th, we lost an hour with daylight saving time. March 12th marked the Aztec New Year, the dawn of the 6th sun. March 17th was St. Patrick's Day, aka All Snakes Day. March 18th, new moon in Pisces with Sun, Mars, Mercury, North Node. And March 20th, spring equinox, new moon, Mercury stations direct at 3:33 Eastern Daylight Time after 23 days retrograde. One day, 3 massive resets, 1 + 3 = 13. Pisces season closes with a cosmic bang. The woman's birthday was a week ago, Friday the 13th, 2026. She has turned 26. 13 + 13 = 26. History does have a funny way of repeating itself, and this sure is giving me Beware the Ides of March vibes. Could this be Mary Magdalene reincarnated as Medusa? Are we in the new age of Aquarius? Has the reset we've been waiting for finally arrived? After that coffee, I looked her up. Turns out she's got this thing called Matter 13 across platforms. Her own philosophy of helping people through shadow work. Dig deep inside, clear the junk, then, start bending reality a little. Sounds insane, right? But after that specific rabbit hole, I'm not laughing anymore. If you felt something on the 13th, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.